Hey Melia, thanks so much for continuing to post continuous improved content and demonstrating your will and desire to keep improving. You've done a fantastic job on that, and I want to continue to praise you on how well you've done for every exercise. Now, getting into your current submission for your insert exercise, and again, as always, you do a fantastic job handling technique, handling posture, all things like that. Now, to get to that next level of cleanliness and mastery of visual performance that we need you to do, the next thing is to focus a little bit more on your upper body. Throughout the entire exercise, you have a little bit of a tendency to allow your upper body to react to the pathway and direction of what you're traveling. So let's say if I was going back to my right in this video, it would be to the left, but to my right, for example, you have a tendency to have your whole setup going and you're marching, and then all of a sudden your upper body starts to tilt and transfer into that direction so that it's as if you're marching straight backwards with your upper body turned in that direction. You want to make sure you're focusing on lifting up through the rib cage, keeping that isolated and keeping all of this from the hips above the exact same no matter what direction you're going to. And that will really require you to lift up a little bit more, engage that core to keep everything stable. That way when you march, your upper body is completely the same no matter what you do. And that's actually something that happens in both of your backwards phrases, whether it's to the left or to the right. You have a tendency to allow your upper body to react to every single step. So be a little bit more careful with that and just really try to isolate the upper and lower body as you move. Now, the next thing that we need to work on a little bit more, and this could be an issue due to spatial restrictions that you have in your marching area, but you have a tendency to curve some of your pathways, and it's mainly when you're going back to your right. So that is going to be in your video, the area where you have the pole back to your right, and I can completely understand that because right now you're a little bit wary, you don't want to run into the pole and all things like that. But for future practice, when you're doing things like this, maybe you can adjust where your markings are so that you don't have that issue. Other than that, I would really highly encourage you to take those backward phrases a little bit slower. Start by taking that first step. Again, layering on that other comment about the upper body, making sure everything stays exactly the same, then going into taking that next step, taking it step by step, nice and slow, to make sure that everything is in a straight line path. Because right now, there's a big tendency to take that first couple steps in the right pathway, and then all of a sudden you notice your side to side is a little big and you have to curve it in. So I want to make sure that you're focusing on taking that straight line path, and if that's one of your biggest tendencies is overshooting your side to side, then maybe you can adjust that first step so that it's not so far to your right specifically, but it could be a little bit further backwards to compensate for that. So that's just something to look out for. Make sure that you're also reviewing your own videos, so you're thinking like, oh, maybe I can improve on this before I submit, maybe I can improve on this. That way you're also giving yourself individual notes as you go along. That way you're building up continuous skills of self-improvement. That way we can continue to nail down the details like we're doing right now. So you're already doing a fantastic job at that, but just do it a little bit more so you can make sure that some of those details are a little bit more ironed out. The next thing is that the demonstration that you did is actually only level 4. Level 5 is for you to go to the 1s, then back to the 2s, the 3s, and the 4s. So it'll go back up the progression. So you went to splitting, you went to 3 off, 2 off, then 1 off. Level 5, which is something we would eventually like to have you master, but you can do this in your individual practice, is to go back up the progression, to continue on from the 1s, go to the 2s, the 3s, and the 4s, to work on levels of consistency, because right now that exercise is quite long and it's going to help you build strength and endurance when it comes to marching in a typical show, which is roughly about 7 to 8 minutes. So it's going to really help you build up that strength that you're going to need. Other than that, I think you do a fantastic job. Just try to iron out some of those little details and watch your own performance and see if you can connect what I've mentioned out to you, and see if you can identify where you're having those issues. Maybe if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I can better address them to you in person through a video call like we've done before. Other than that, again, fantastic job. I think you're one of our strongest visual examples, and I hope that you can keep that drive going, keep that work ethic up, and I hope to see more from you soon. Thanks.